What are you the 1% of? I figured I have to be in the top 1% of deaf guitar players worldwide. I heard completely fine for like 25 years and spent 19 years of that to practice guitar playing. Been legally deaf for 3 years now and still can play well, muscle memory. I kinda wanna start a band called Deaf Metal or something. I am the 7th generation in my family with the same name. At the end of my name I legally have a 7. My daughter was the first in Canada to have her cord blood harvested for stem cells. They were to be used for a bone marrow transplant for her brother. As a side note, my son was diagnosed with what was then called JCML, a child leukemia occurring in about 0.001% of all childhood leukemias. The survival rate I believe was in the 1 percentile range. Not that I've looked it up, but I've run over a fish in my car. Whenever I tell the story, no one has heard anything like it. Spades. I am actually in the top 0.06% and used to be number 1 out of 43,000 players. So I'm like one of the top billionaires in the world but in spades skills. So that earns me about $0. I can spin on my ass really fast, like probably around 20 full rotations in one go. I start standing up. Then I put my left hand on the ground and I throw my right leg towards my left. Finally I retract my legs and put my hands on my knees and I go spinning like a motherfucking Beyblade. I've been doing this since I was 3 or 4. I was just over 11 pounds at birth, and got stuck mid-breech. Head out. Shoulders wouldn't push through. Doctors decided that cutting me out would take too long at this point and could kill us both, so they pulled me out. In doing so, they tore all the wiring, as it were, down my left side of my neck. Unbeknownst to them, what happened was stunted growth of my left arm at an angle pointing almost behind me. They had to operate on my shoulder socket, and my hand had gone full on T-Rex angled, so they broke my wrist and turned it to force it to grow normally. I was in an almost 3/4 torso cast for months as a small kid. Today in my mid-30s, I can't fully outstretch my left arm. Maybe a 2/3 road stretch at best. I can't lift it higher than my mid-chest. My wrist is pretty loose. Hey now. So my hand wants to naturally flop forward a lot. I can still move around mostly, but I can't push with my left arm all that much. Struggle lifting heavy things. Can't push away to the side of me. Can't drive manual cars but can drive autos. My arm is also thinner than my right. Due to the muscle development, I had a twitch in a thumb almost like a clock for about 4 years that suddenly stopped. Also have to use my right hand to get my left into the position I want it to be in, because the nerves aren't there to send the signal to move it in certain directions. You normally just move your arms, but I can't, and it's like trying to move a part of you through telepathy. Physio was the only answer, but it barely changed anything after circa 6 months, and I packed that in my early teens because what's the point, etc. It's fucked me up pretty badly mentally, I'd say, even though I'm overall pretty happy. Doesn't affect my work. I can still type, etc., but I get aches on my left shoulder blade and shoulder. I can't do push-ups or pull-ups, so don't go to the gym or do sports as it's an obvious disadvantage, so I'm overweight but not massive. I naturally got bullied at school a hell of a lot. I'm so used to hiding it that it's muscle memory now, even though I'm at the stage of my life where I can say, hey, yeah, this is me. Deal with it. But because I don't work out, I stopped swimming or doing anything with my shirt off in public. I'd say yeah, pretty damn rare case. And I don't even know what the condition is called. I need to see a doctor about it, as this was 80s when I was born and medicine has changed so much. I'm just so used to being this way I've never really pushed to get answers. I've thought about it more since the pandemic, but obviously doctors aren't exactly seeing people right now for non-emergency stuff. Not me but my husband. He has a brain tumor on the pituitary gland. Before treatment his body pumped out pregnancy hormones, so he was hormonal and moody AF for ages. Just before it got really bad we managed to get pregnant. When our baby was born his chest had that let-down sensation new moms feel, a heavy-weighted feeling in your boobs. When our baby cried, his boobs started leaking breast milk same time mine did. He actually had to pump milk out to ease the pain in his chest. He got the treatment he needed and he no longer can squirt breast milk at me if I piss him off. Edit. ****, thank you so much for the rewards. Absolutely touched. Asterisk asterisk heart. It was officially diagnosed as prolactinoma. I know it's not exactly 1% but still pretty rare. On addition to medication to shrink the tumor, I also had to give him hormone injections, deeming him infertile for a few years. Male birth control. It broke his heart. Light at the end of the tunnel. We were able to get him off the injections and we're trying for baby number 2 after 7 years. We were successful, briefly, but it didn't last. Crossing fingers for next time. I have an autoimmune disease that's so rare nobody knows what it is. Genetic testing is currently underway to see if I have a recently discovered genetic defect that about 10 people have been diagnosed with. Edit. I appreciate all the people attempting to give me a diagnosis in the comments, but I think 6 years and more specialists than I can count on one hand might know a little more about what's going on than some strangers on the internet. Edit 2. I've got some links to some information on what I'm currently waiting to find out if I have. It's called INFLTR8, Kickass, right? And it was named by one of the first people diagnosed with it. The study. https://blood/article/137/18/2450/4747/immunodeficiency-and-bone-marrow-failure- with closing parenthesis and the link to a story about its discovery and naming. https://medicine.wuSTL.edu/news/scientists-discover-rare-genetic-condition-that-#:*text equals about %20 30% 20 minutes %20 later %2c %20 Brandon %20 suggested %28 20 name bone %20 marrow %20 failure %2c %20 and %20 lymphoproliferation %20 caused %20 by %20 TLR8. Closing parenthesis. I guess I'm in the 1% of only having 3 lower front teeth. I have A B blood, which is found in less than 1% of the population. When Spotify released listening statistics at the end of 2020, I was on the top 0.1% of Weird Al Yankovic listeners. Got my wisdom teeth pulled. One side grew back over a year from a fragment left. Dentist published an article about it and was so happy. I was not with another oral surgery. At the end of Detroit. Become Human, they tell you the percentage of people who got the same ending as you. Mine was 1%. If you have a 7 inches, 18 centimeters, penis, you are in the top 1% of men worldwide. Keep that in mind when everyone you know, and on the internet, somehow has a 8+ in schlong. Edit. I recommend everybody take a look at the website https://calcsd.netlify.app/full closing parenthesis. I got this info from specifically the section titled Measurement, so that you can get an accurate reading. If you think this number sounds way too short, it's probably because you're measuring wrong. Everyone is in the 1% when you measure from your taint. I think it's like 0.1 to 0.5% of women or something, but I have a double uterus. Medically called a didelphys uterus. A septum separates my uterus, which kinda made them form into 2 separate ones, and the septum continues down into the vagina, so I also have a left and right side. Not fun to deal with, but I'm too scared to get the surgery for it. Went to the optometrist recently and he said I have a uniquely shaped right cornea and said I was in the 1%. Did tests for a degenerative disease that I couldn't remember, but I'm in the clear. Some Latin-sounding disease. Corneus blah blah. The doctor said most people generally have half a portion of astigmatism in their eyes. My right eye has 5 portions. Triple nipple over here. 0.5% I believe. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games 2008 pole vault. When I was 8 to 11, I had the second highest score in the world. That has most likely changed. I finished first in Tetris 99 once. 2 eye colors, blue and brown. This is what my eye looks like. It's sectoral heterochromia. https://i.imager.com/parkervepo.png closing parenthesis. Edit. Since this is getting a lot of attention, the condition is called heterochromia. There are different kinds of it. Some have one color for each eye. This is called complete heterochromia. Some have different color around the center, central heterochromia, and some have sectoral, which essentially looks like a pie chart. Come visit our heterochromia if you have it too and post a pic. We love to see our heterochromia friends. Or if you just want to check out some eyes laughing face, I also have something called Alice in Wonderland syndrome that distorts my vision. Objects appear much smaller than they actually are. For example, a phone can seem as small as a penny. I don't think my eye color causes this though. This only happens about a few times a week for about 10 to 15 minutes each time. Sometimes it can be longer than that. Typing speed edit. To save everyone the Google, finding the comments. Average is around 40 to 50 WPM with approximately 100 WPM being top 1%. Not sure if it's the 1% or not, but no, it's very rare. Womb twisted itself back to front when I was pregnant. Fetus should really not have been viable, but she's now a very energetic and beautiful 20-month-old. They were going to induce me early because the twist, that we didn't know about at this point, was causing me so much pain. Thankfully a nurse felt something was strange with my cervix, ordered another scan. Cut to emergency C-section. Surgeon had no idea what he was looking at when he opened me up. Consultant called in. No one in the hospital had ever seen anything like it. They took photos. Every nurse said they wanted to see them. We were lucky. The consultant said that afterwards she had done some research and only found a handful of records and the outcome of the surgery was not good. At least one of us shouldn't be here. If I had been induced, I would have died in incredible pain, unable to deliver, and baby would have probably died from stress. We are now a case study and have changed the way that hospital responds to pain in pregnancy. Edit. Thanks so much for all the interest and love. Very unexpected and has made my evening slightly smiling face. I feel special. A bit more info for some who might want extra. Had an ovary and tube removed 10 years previously because it had wrapped itself around my womb and was like being stabbed every month. Remaining tube didn't look good but was in the right place, so they left it but told me I would 99% need IVF to have a baby. We had unprotected sex once and boom, baby, she is literally a miracle. After she had been removed, they had to take my womb out of my body, physically twist it back around and then put it back. I'm going back soon for another scan to check if it's back twisted because I have pain again. Tried to reply to everyone. Sorry if I missed you. I'm on my phone. I have small intestinal cancer. The type is the same as colon cancer, but where it's located is less than 1% of worldwide diagnosis per year. But I've signed papers for 11 different oncologists to be able to access my records to see what works, what doesn't, etc., because they just don't get enough examples of it. Kind of hit or miss on procedures to work with, which treatments first, which type of chemo, etc. I've also said that if it ever reaches a point where I'm terminal and common treatments just don't work anymore, I'm willing to go all guinea pig. Depending on exactly where it is, because of the veins coming off of your mesenteric artery to feed the small intestine, it usually is inoperable. So you are strictly on chemo and radiation. If the heavy levels don't do it, then you get to go on low-dose chemo daily for however long it works. Then it eventually doesn't. Currently, according to my last PET scan, the tumors have disappeared. They won't say remission, just that it seems to be dormant right now. I'll take it. I am in the 1% of musicians who actually made a living playing music. Notice I did not say a good living. Also didn't say good music. I am part of the 1% of people being ambidextrous. I scored a 99 on the ASVAB, which is graded using a percentile system. I'm part of the 1 to 2% with red hair. Except in my house where I'm part of the 80%. Me and my kids are redheads. My wife is a blonde. I can swallow my tongue. Or rather put my whole tongue in the hole to my nose, where the nose and mouth come together. Apparently my ear doctor said that none of her colleagues believed her when she said she had a patient that could do that. So I had to do it whole. She was filming, so she could prove them wrong. Tears of joy. Hilarious to have my doctor shove her iPhone in my mouth face with mask. I'm in the 1% for people with narcolepsy. I believe it's 0.05% of America and 0.04% for the world. I had an ear infection travel up what would have been an otherwise asymptomatic formation of my skull called arachnoid granulation until it finally reached my cranial cavity. It took a literal team of the best doctors, ENT surgeon, neurologist, multiple neuroradiologists, from Northwestern University Hospital and the University of Pennsylvania to first diagnose me and then treat me. I was absurdly lucky to have a friend of the family who is a doctor who was able to call in a favor to get the entire neuroradiology team at UPenn studying my numerous CTs and MRIs. The head of neuroradiology at UPenn told him I have the most unique-looking skull he's ever seen. Talk about damning with faint praise. When they finally had a diagnosis, my aunt pulled my skull CT scan up and said, "Do you see that white spot? That's fluid. That's infection. It shouldn't be there. You're very lucky you haven't contracted meningitis. This had been happening for 10 years, undiagnosed. And do you see this black space here? That's air. That should absolutely not be there. Do you ever fly?" I responded yes. All the time, for work, for concerts, regularly, once a month or more. Well, you absolutely can't fly until this is fixed. Every time you've flown in the last 10 years and the cabin pressurized, that air could have expanded and shifted your brain off of midline and you'd have been dead immediately, without knowing anything. They removed an L-shaped infected portion of my skull about 2 inches by 6 inches and replaced it with a titanium mesh plate after sewing the tear in my ear canal shut. It resolved the problem and I haven't had any issues since. I can now fly. Edit. Because people are asking. The symptoms were fullness, pressure, and the feeling of fluid in my ears. It lasted years and several ENTs misdiagnosed me. Finally I asked one to put in a tube and it drained continuously for a month. The ENT I was going to, not the one who diagnosed me, thought it was a cerebrospinal fluid leak, and ordered me to have emergency surgery for a cerebrospinal fluid leak that didn't exist. He had taken a sample of fluid for testing but demanded I have what amounted to exploratory brain surgery for a condition that didn't exist. I was sitting on an operating bed as they were about to place pre-op antibiotics when I got a call from the aforementioned doctor friend of the family who said, "They don't know what the fuck they are talking about. Leave now." I got so many shit looks from the team of surgeons that had been assembled to cut my brain open to fix a problem that didn't exist. 2 days later I got a phone call from my aunt saying, the results of the fluid sample came back. It wasn't CSF. No apology. No explanation. No nothing. I'm a test tube baby. That's like 0.001% of the population. I am allergic to temperature extremes. Taking a hot shower or touching an ice cube will give me hives. Type 1 diabetes. It's a shit club. Thanks for watching. See you later.